Chosen one. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you, so this word can find you. You are not scrolling by chance. You did not arrive here by mistake. This is divine interruption. Right now you stand at a threshold where delay is dangerous. And obedience will change everything. You have carried burdens heavier than most. Nights when your pillow was wet with tears. Mornings when you put on a smile that did not match your soul. People saw only fragments of your story and judged what they could not understand. But what looked like rejection was actually refinement. What seemed like silence was God's way of sharpening you for a moment such as this. Think of yourself as a sword still hidden in its sheath, unseen, but being sharpened. Every strike against the stone did not break you. It formed your edge. And now, the moment is arriving when you will be drawn out not for decoration, but for purpose. I once knew a chosen one who lived through years of waiting. Everyone around him moved forward while he felt stuck. He prayed, yet answers seemed delayed. What he could not see was that in the shadows, heaven was weaving connections and preparing doors that no human hand could open. One day, everything shifted in a single moment. What looked like wasted years became the very foundation of his strength. Perhaps you know that feeling of delay. If so, it is proof you are in the training ground of destiny. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Let those words settle into your bones. Fear has tried to chain you. Anxiety has whispered that you are not enough. But the truth of heaven overrules those lies. You carry power. You carry love. You carry clarity of mind when the world around you is drowning in confusion. Imagine your soul as a lighthouse standing on jagged cliffs. Storms pound. Waves roar. But your light remains. Ships lost in darkness find safety because you refuse to let the flame die. That is who you are. Even when you felt hidden, you were guiding others without knowing it. Chosen one. This is not coincidence. You are standing in a sacred interruption. Delay is costly. Indifference is dangerous. But surrender, yes. Surrender will unlock what you have been praying for. You are not meant to stay small. You are not meant to keep shrinking your fire so others feel comfortable. You were meant to blaze. Your voice carries more than words. When you whisper prayers in the stillness, heaven moves. When you choose obedience in private, strongholds tremble in places you cannot see. Do not underestimate what rests upon you. So I invite you take a step, not for me, but as a prophetic act for yourself. If this word touches the place inside you that has been longing for confirmation, mark it. Leave a comment. Type it into existence. I am chosen. Share this message so another hidden warrior might find courage. And subscribe. Not as routine, but to remain connected to the flow of words heaven is releasing for this exact moment of your life. This is not entertainment. This is your lifeline, like water in a desert. These words arrive right on time. Without them, the noise of the world tries to suffocate your fire. But with them, you stay aligned, sharpened, and strengthened. Chosen one. Lift your head. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. Today is a pivot point. From this moment forward, something shifts in your spirit. You will not crawl anymore, you will rise. You will not whisper apologies for your calling. You will stand in it. And as you write that number, see it not as digits on a screen, but as a covenant between your spirit and heaven. Each stroke declares, I choose faith over fear, clarity over confusion, destiny over delay, your obedience. Even in this small act, echoes louder than you imagine. The unseen world takes notice. The chains that tried to bind you loosen, and the atmosphere around you begins to shift. So step forward. Carry this fire into your day. Share it so that another weary soul may catch the spark. Keep your heart open, your spirit watchful, because this is only the first step of a much greater unfolding. The journey of the chosen is just beginning, and you are walking it now. You have been through storms that left scars, and you have wondered if those scars disqualify you. Yet, every scar is a testimony that you survived what should have destroyed you. Broken places are not the end of your story. They are the soil where strength is secretly planted. Consider the image of a cracked vessel. To the untrained eye, it looks worthless, fragile, ready to be discarded. But when a master craftsman takes it in hand, he fills the cracks with gold, turning what was once damaged into something priceless. That is what heaven has been doing with you. Every crack, every wound, every disappointment has become the space where glory can shine brighter. There was once a young man who thought his life was ruined beyond repair. He had lost friends, opportunities, even his own confidence. He walked with his head down, ashamed of the mistakes he had made. But in the hidden hours of prayer, something shifted. He realized that the very pain he wanted to erase was the place God was writing his testimony. When he began to speak from his scars, others found healing in his words. What he once called failure became the key that opened hearts. You too carry such a gift. The tears you thought were wasted are not wasted at all. They are seeds, seeds watered by sorrow, now breaking open to bring forth life. Do not despise the breaking, for it is in the breaking that the fragrance of oil is released. Just as a jar of perfume must be crushed for its aroma to fill a room, so your story must be pressed for others to be healed through it. Your broken places have made you tender. They have given you eyes to see pain in others that the strong often overlook. You can walk into a room and sense heaviness before anyone says a word. That is no weakness. That is discernment. The compassion you carry is not common. It is forged in fire. According to what is revealed in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, the Lord is close to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. These words are not just poetry. They are reality. In your loneliest hours, when you thought no one saw, heaven was closer than your breath. When your strength failed, you were being held. When your spirit felt crushed, you were being shaped into someone who could carry light into the darkest corners. Think of yourself as a mosaic. Pieces shattered, scattered, sharp and painful. Yet when arranged by the hands of the master, those broken fragments form a picture more beautiful than any unbroken stone could ever display. Your life is that mosaic. Broken, yes, but being arranged into beauty that only heaven could design. Do not let shame whisper that your scars are proof of weakness. They are proof of survival. They are evidence that you have walked through valleys and come out with wisdom that cannot be bought. They are marks of authenticity in a world filled with masks. chosen one. Understand this. Your broken places are not the graveyard of your destiny. They are the birthplace of it. Without them, you would not carry the depth you now hold. Without them, your words would be shallow. Without them, your faith would not have roots. A seed, before it becomes a tree, must first break open in the dark soil. That breaking looks like destruction, but it is actually the beginning of growth. So it is with you. The dark soil you have endured was not to bury you, but to plant you. And now, shoots of new life are beginning to press through. You may feel small, unnoticed, even fragile. But remember, an oak tree begins as a seed. Strength is not absent in your life. It is simply unfolding. Your scars are proof that you are already stronger than you realize. So let this truth settle in you. Your brokenness is not your disqualification. It is your testimony. And when the time comes, you will see how every piece fits together, how every tear was gathered, how every scar shines with glory. Even now, heaven is weaving beauty through what once felt unbearable. The chapter you thought marked your ending is becoming the very prologue to a greater story. Nothing has been wasted, not the delays, not the tears, not the silence. Every fragment is being gathered and redeemed. So walk with courage. Lift your eyes from the ruins and see the foundation being laid. You are not defined by what was broken, but by the strength rising from it. Your tomorrow carries restoration. You now stand at a cliff-edge moment. Every path behind you has brought you here, and every step forward will define what unfolds next. This is the moment of immediate choice. To remain as you are feels safer, but it leads to cycles that keep repeating. To step into what heaven has marked for you requires courage, surrender, and a heart willing to risk obedience. Imagine standing before two doors. One is familiar, worn by countless footsteps, leading to the same disappointments. The other glows faintly, untrusted, calling you into the unknown. The first door offers comfort. The second offers destiny. Which will you choose? I once knew of a man who faced such a decision. He had opportunities to play it safe, to take the job everyone expected, to live quietly without disruption. But deep inside, something whispered that he was meant for more. Against the advice of many voices, he chose the unfamiliar door. The road was rough at first, but years later, the fruit of his choice blessed countless lives. He often said, "My fear almost stole my purpose." Fear will always guard the doorway of destiny. It whispers reasons to delay, excuses to wait, lies that say you are unqualified. But remember this, obedience dismantles fear. When you move, heaven moves with you. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? These words are not theory, they are armor. When you walk into the unknown, you are not alone. The same God who lit David's path will light yours. The same God who defended shepherds and kings defends you now. Think of a bird perched on a branch. Its trust is not in the branch, which may snap, but in its wings. Likewise, your trust is not in what you stand on, but in the one who gave you the ability to soar. Even if the ground shifts beneath you, heaven has given you wings. This is why your choice today matters. To hesitate is to circle the same mountain again and again. To act is to step into acceleration. Do not let the fear of falling rob you of the joy of flying. Now I ask you to take a simple but powerful step. Comment these 3 words. Door 2 chosen. Do not underestimate this act. It may seem small, but it is a declaration. When you write those words, you are not just leaving a note on a screen. You are aligning your will with heaven's call. You are saying, I will not go backward. I will not stand still. I choose movement. I choose obedience. I choose destiny. And when you put it into words, the unseen realm takes notice. Angels hear it. Chains recognize it. Fear loses its grip. Your declaration is a seed planted in the soil of faith, and heaven will water it. This is your immediate choice: to delay or to declare, to shrink or to rise, to remain in cycles, or to step into destiny. The future is calling, and your response begins with 3 words. And understand this clearly. When you wrote, Door 2 chosen, you did more than comment. You declared alignment with heaven's invitation. That phrase is prophetic language. It marks your willingness to leave behind the old cycles and step into the unknown that carries destiny. You are not just typing words. You are announcing to the unseen world that your decision has shifted. Think about Israel standing at the edge of the Red Sea. Behind them was slavery. Familiar, but destructive. Before them was an impossible sea. Unknown and terrifying. The choice to step forward looked like madness. Yet when they did, the waters parted. In the same way, your obedience opens pathways no human effort could ever create. Choosing Door 2 is not only courage, it is partnership with divine timing. This is why the act matters. Heaven often works through declarations spoken aloud. Words have creative power. Just as God spoke light into darkness, your words speak new direction into your life. Saying, Door 2 chosen is planting a flag in the soil of your future. It tells your spirit, your circumstances, and even your doubts that you have decided. Do not look back. Do not measure your choice by the comfort of the old door. Measure it by the promise of what is waiting on the other side. Every step into obedience is a seed, and every seed in God's soil brings a harvest. Your immediate choice has been made. Now watch as heaven begins to move. The time has come to recognize the authority you carry. Though it has often been hidden from your own sight, the world may have treated you as ordinary, but heaven has already placed a staff in your hand. Much like Moses carried without realizing its weight. That staff was not carved for decoration. It was given as a symbol of authority and a weapon of deliverance. You too hold something unseen, something that carries power to shift atmospheres and break barriers. At first glance, it may feel invisible. You cannot touch it the way you touch a pen or a stone. Yet, it is real. It shows itself in moments you least expect. A word you speak suddenly pierces someone's heart. A prayer you whisper changes the direction of a situation. A simple act of kindness disrupts darkness in ways no one else perceives. That is the hidden staff in your hand. Think of it as a key carved from heaven's design. To you, it may seem like nothing more than wood. To others, it may appear ordinary. But in the spiritual realm, It glows with divine authority. Wherever you carry it, doors that were shut begin to unlock. Chains that bound begin to loosen, and paths that were impossible begin to clear. I once heard the story of a woman who worked quietly in her community. She was not famous, not celebrated, not known by crowds. Yet, she carried a gift of intercession. Every time she prayed, situations shifted, familias reconciled, illnesses eased, opportunities appeared. People thought she was just a good listener. But what they didn't know was that she was wielding her hidden staff. The authority she carried was not shouted, it was whispered into the ear of God. And the world around her felt the effects, as the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 9. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. This is the essence of your hidden staff. It may be words placed in your mouth, prayers birthed in your spirit, discernment that sees what others overlook, or courage that rises when everyone else retreats. Whatever form it takes, it is your mark of being chosen. Authority is rarely flashy. True authority often looks like humility. The staff you carry may not sparkle in the eyes of the world, but it commands attention in the spiritual realm. When Moses lifted his staff, waters parted, plagues ceased, armies trembled, not because the wood had power, but because obedience released heaven's authority. So too, when you lift what you've been given, heaven responds. Picture yourself walking through a valley with nothing in your hand but what feels like a fragile stick. You face opposition larger than life. To human eyes, it looks like weakness. Yet the moment you lift it in obedience, the ground shakes, and the impossible bends. This is the paradox of the hidden staff. It looks ordinary until it is used, and then it reveals extraordinary power. Your task now is to recognize it. Ask yourself, where have I seen unusual results when I acted in faith? Where have my words, my prayers, my presence shifted atmospheres? That is where your hidden staff operates. It may not look like leadership in the world's terms, but it is leadership in heaven's. Do not despise the size of it. David's sling was small. Gideon's army was reduced. And Elijah prayed with no microphone, yet each wielded their hidden staff with faith. And heaven confirmed it with fire. Victory and breakthrough. Your authority is not loud, but it is real. It is not always visible, but it is undeniable. And soon, situations around you will reveal it more clearly. You will realize that what felt like weakness was actually a weapon. What felt like insignificance was actually influence. What felt like silence was actually strategy. Chosen one. Your hidden staff is not waiting to be given. It is already in your hand. What remains is the courage to lift it. And when you lift it, even trembling, the unseen responds. You may not hear the thunder or see the seas divide, but shifts begin quietly, like tectonic plates moving beneath the earth. In time, what was hidden underground erupts as undeniable transformation. The staff you carry is not for display, it is for action. So walk forward with awareness. Let your prayers strike like arrows. Let your words echo like rivers carving stone. Let your presence remind darkness, it has no claim. You are equipped already, chosen already, armed already. The staff is in your hand. Lift it. Use it. There comes a moment when mercy pauses. It is not because heaven has turned its face from you, but because decisions cannot be postponed forever, like a river held back by a dam. Mercy flows abundantly, but if the gates are never opened, the waters can no longer reach the dry fields. To delay too long is to risk missing the timing written for you. Think of the farmer who waits for rain. The seeds are in the ground. The soil is ready. But if the rains are delayed season after season, the harvest cannot come. In the same way, your obedience, your yes to God, allows mercy to flow into the places of your life that feel barren. Delay holds back the harvest. Surrender releases it. I once heard the story of a man who felt God tugging on his heart for years. He always said, "Later, when I'm ready," when things are easier, but later never came. Life moved forward, but the spark of destiny dimmed. By the time he realized what he had delayed, opportunities had shifted away. The truth is this: moments of mercy are not meant to be ignored. They are invitations, and invitations expire when they are not answered. It was written in the book of Hosea, chapter 10, verse 12. Sow righteousness for yourselves, reap the fruit of unfailing love, and break up your unplowed ground, for it is time to seek the Lord, until he comes and showers his righteousness on you. This is the season to act, not to wait. You are standing at a crossroad, and mercy still stretches out its hand. Take it before the moment slips into silence. And while we speak of mercy, I want to speak honestly to your heart. Messages like this are not built on thin air. They are like oil lamps. The flame that reaches you only shines because someone has chosen to pour in oil. Without oil, even the strongest lamp grows dim. That oil is prayer, commitment, and yes, support. If you have ever been in a dark room holding a candle, you know that even the smallest flame makes all the difference. Your decision to share, to subscribe, to like, these are sparks that spread the flame further. Someone else wandering in the dark might stumble onto this message only because you helped light the way. That is not a small act, it is eternal. And about giving, understand this clearly. No one is forcing you. This is not a toll booth you must pay to pass. It is more like being invited to water a garden that has been feeding your soul. If the fruit has nourished you, your donation becomes a way to plant more seeds so that others may eat too. You are not buying anything, you are simply helping the harvest multiply. Picture it like this. Imagine a well in the desert. You draw water, refresh your soul, and then walk away. That is one option. But imagine instead that after drinking, you leave a little water behind, so the well never runs dry for the next traveler. That is what giving does. It keeps the well flowing. It keeps the oil burning. It keeps the lamp shining. If you feel stirred, then act freely, joyfully. Donate as your heart leads, not as an obligation. If not, let your presence and your prayers be your gift. Every form of support keeps the flame alive. Your obedience today matters. Mercy is waiting for your yes, and the world is waiting for your flame. Delay no longer. Lift the staff you carry. Embrace the mercy extended, and help the light continue to reach those who are still searching. If this message has touched you, I ask you sincerely, like, share, and subscribe, so you remain in step with what heaven is releasing. Each of these acts is like placing another stone in the path, making the way clearer for the one who comes behind you. And if you feel stirred, donate not as payment, but as participation. Think of it as dropping a seed into a river that will flow far beyond what you can see. That seed will multiply, reaching shores you may never step upon yourself. It is entirely your choice. Freely given, joyfully sown. Whatever you choose, whether your gift is prayer, presence, or provision, heaven sees your heart, and the light, because of you, will keep burning. So carry this truth with peace. What you pour in, whether a prayer, a share, or a seed, never disappears. It flows forward, touching lives you may never meet, shaping futures you might never see, and heaven records it all with joy. As part of your eternal harvest, there are moments when heaven interrupts your path with urgency. This is one of those moments. What I am about to share is not coincidence. It is divine intervention. The very fact that you are hearing this means the Spirit has decided to meet you here. Right now, there is a technique, a spiritual emergency response, that chosen ones must know. It is simple, but it can save your destiny. At the core of this technique are 4 words. Don't do it. Not whispered in fear, but declared with authority. Every time temptation calls, every time delay whispers, every time compromise tries to seduce you, those words must rise in your spirit. Don't do it. End it. This phrase is not about rules. It is about preservation, like a shepherd's staff pulling a sheep back from the cliff. Those words pull you back from edges you cannot see clearly. Heaven uses this technique to guard your destiny when the enemy sets snares dressed in beauty, promises, or shortcuts. Think of a soldier in the heat of battle. Smoke clouds his vision. Noise fills the air, and in the chaos, he cannot see where to step. Then he hears his commander's voice shout, "Hold the line." That single command saves him from running into an ambush. So it is with you. Don't do it is heaven's command to hold the line when you cannot yet see the full picture. It is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 12. There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death. And the paths of compromise always look harmless at first. They glitter like gold, but they corrode like rust. They feel smooth beneath your feet, but they crumble when you lean your weight on them. That is why this emergency response is vital. You must train your heart to stop when the Spirit whispers, to resist when the trap is hidden in beauty. I recall the story of a young leader. He was given opportunities to climb quickly, to take shortcuts that promised recognition. His heart knew it was wrong, but the temptation was strong. One night, as he was about to step into compromise, he felt a sudden heaviness in his chest, like heaven pressing pause. The words in his spirit were simple: "Don't do it." He obeyed. Weeks later, the truth was exposed. The opportunity had been a snare designed to destroy his reputation. By listening, he was saved. This is how heaven works with you. It does not always explain everything in the moment. Instead, it gives you a warning, a check in your spirit, a phrase to guard your steps. Your part is to obey. Even when you don't see the full reason why, picture yourself walking in a forest at night with only a lantern. The light reaches just a few steps ahead. But it is enough. When the spirit whispers, don't do it. It is like that lantern stopping you from walking straight into a pit. You may not see the pit, but heaven already knows it is there. So hear me clearly. This is divine strategy for you. Train yourself to pause, to resist, to declare with your mouth. Don't do it. Speak it out loud if you must. Let those words be your shield until the temptation passes, until the danger is revealed. Now, as an act of agreement, I want you to mark this moment. Comment the number 444 below, not as superstition, but as a prophetic act. 4 is the number of stability, foundation, and divine order. When you write it, you are declaring, my steps will be ordered, my path will be guarded, my foundation will stand. Understand the weight of this. You are not just typing digits, you are sealing a covenant. It is a reminder to your own soul and a declaration to heaven that you choose obedience over compromise. Each time you see that number, let it pull you back to this moment, this teaching, this rescue, chosen one. The Spirit has given you this tool so you may endure. Not every battle will announce itself loudly. Some will whisper. Some will come disguised as opportunities. But with this emergency response alive in your heart, you will not fall prey to them. You will stand, preserved for greater things. When you choose to honor that whisper, don't do it. You are not losing an opportunity. You are protecting your inheritance. The world may call it hesitation, but heaven calls it wisdom. Each time you pause in obedience, you build a fortress around your destiny. So let 444 be more than a number. Let it be your reminder that foundations matter, that shortcuts destroy, and that obedience secures your crown. To understand the weight of your calling, you must also understand the intensity of your opposition. The enemy does not waste his strategies on those without purpose. If you have felt pressure, resistance, or inexplicable warfare, it is not because you are weak, it is because you are marked. Darkness crafts blueprints specifically designed to sabotage chosen ones. These blueprints are not always dramatic. They are subtle, woven into everyday life. They whisper through distraction, through unhealthy relationships, through opportunities that look attractive but pull you off course. The enemy studies patterns, watching where you hesitate, where you are vulnerable, where your heart longs for shortcuts, and then he lays traps, not with obvious chains, but with gentle snares. Picture a hunter in the forest. He does not chase loudly. He sets traps quietly. A rope covered in leaves. A pit disguised with branches. A lure placed where an animal is most likely to step. The prey thinks it is free until the trap snaps shut. This is how the enemy designs his blueprints. He hides them beneath normality, hoping you will not see them until it is too late. One of the most common snares is distraction. You were meant to soar, yet distractions keep your wings folded. Endless scrolling, wasted hours, constant noise. These things seem harmless, but they are designed to drain your focus. The blueprint of distraction is to make you so busy with nothing that you forget everything that matters. Another snare is counterfeit connection. The enemy knows that chosen ones thrive in the right relationships. So he sends imitations. People who look supportive but carry hidden agendas. Voices that sound affirming but slowly pull you off the path. like Judas at the table. They kiss your cheek while planning betrayal. The blueprint of counterfeit connection is to keep you tied to people who drain rather than build. And then there is compromise. This blueprint is dangerous because it often arrives dressed as opportunity. The enemy does not tempt you with things you clearly reject. He tempts you with things that almost look right. A career that advances you but steals your integrity. A relationship that feels good but poisons your purpose. A choice that seems small but chips away at your calling. The blueprint of compromise whispers, "Just this once. It won't matter." But every small compromise is a thread that unravels destiny, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of James, chapter 4, verse 7. Submit yourselves, then, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Oh, this scripture is not passive, it is strategy. Submission is your shield, resistance is your sword. The enemy's blueprint fails when you refuse to play by his rules. He cannot trap what refuses to step into the snare. Think of your life as a fortress under siege. The enemy draws maps, marking weak spots, planning attacks. But if you know where those spots are, you can strengthen them. If distraction is your weakness, you set boundaries. If counterfeit connections drain you, you learn to discern. If compromise whispers, you anchor yourself in truth. The blueprint becomes useless when the walls are reinforced. I once heard the story of a young leader who struggled with distraction. Every time he tried to pray, his mind wandered. Every time he tried to step forward, endless interruptions stole his focus. Then he began to treat his focus as treasure. He set times, guarded his environment, refused to let the little foxes spoil the vineyard. Slowly, the blueprint of distraction lost its power. What was once his greatest weakness became the ground of his greatest discipline. Chosen one, you are not defenseless. The blueprints of the enemy may look detailed, but they are not final. You have been given authority to cancel them. The moment you resist, the enemy must flee. His traps are powerless against discernment, prayer, and obedience. So do not fear the blueprints. Study them, recognize them, and then dismantle them. For every trap he sets, heaven provides a way of escape. For every snare he hides, light exposes it. You are not at the mercy of the enemy's plans, you are the disruption of them, even if the enemy maps out your weaknesses. Remember, he cannot rewrite heaven's design. His blueprints are drawn on fragile paper, while your destiny is carved in eternal stone. At best, he delays. He can never destroy what God has sealed. So walk with confidence. Stay alert. But do not live in fear. Each trap you recognize becomes powerless. Each snare you resist becomes broken. You are not hunted prey. You are the warrior who knows the terrain. There comes a point in every chosen one's journey where the weight of relationships must be examined. Not all ties are meant to last forever. Some were seasonal, meant to teach you lessons or guide you through a chapter, but not designed to remain. The call of destiny often requires a relational purge, a holy separation that clears space for what is to come. This can be one of the most painful parts of the journey. Letting go of people who once felt like family, who walked with you in early steps, who shared laughter and memories. Yet, destiny is rarely compatible with comfort. The ties that once nourished you may now be draining you. The people who once celebrated your growth may now resist it, because your light exposes what they would rather keep hidden. Think of a tree. In spring, every branch blossoms. Flowers cover it, giving beauty and fragrance. But when autumn comes, those blossoms fall away. The tree does not resist. It knows that holding on to dead petals will only weigh it down through winter. In the same way, you must release what no longer carries life. Holding on to expired ties keeps you from carrying fruit in the new season. I recall the story of a woman deeply tied to a circle of friends. They once prayed together, dreamed together, even wept together. But over time, their paths diverged. Their voices grew cynical, their choices shallow. She resisted letting go, fearing loneliness. Yet she noticed her spirit dimming, her clarity fading. Finally, with trembling courage, she stepped away. It was not easy, but in the space that opened, new connections entered, people aligned with her calling, who sharpened her instead of dulling her. Her destiny accelerated the moment she released what had expired. According to what is revealed in the second book of Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 14, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness?" This verse is not about superiority, but about alignment. To be yoked is to be bound, walking step by step with another. If they pull in a different direction, you both stumble. If their pace is slower, you are dragged down. Alignment matters. Who you walk with determines where you arrive. Some ties will drain your energy like leaks in a vessel. No matter how much you pour in, you always feel empty. Others will keep you circling the same mountains, trapped in endless conversations, but no growth. And some ties, though they look harmless, are quietly pulling you away from prayer, away from focus, away from obedience. These are not small matters. They are blueprints designed to divert you. Picture yourself as an eagle. You were created to soar at heights. Yet, if you remain tied to pigeons, you will spend your days pecking at crumbs instead of riding the wind. Eagles must sometimes fly alone, not because they despise others, but because their design requires altitude. You cannot explain to pigeons the view from the clouds. They were never built for it. This purge is not about arrogance. It is about stewardship. You are stewarding your destiny, your calling, your flame. Every relationship is an influence, shaping you in ways you may not always notice. If the influence dulls your hunger for God, it is costing you more than it gives. Letting go will hurt. It will feel like pruning. But pruning is what allows the tree to bear greater fruit. Without it, the branches grow wild, draining energy but producing little. With it, the tree flourishes, stronger and more fruitful than before. Chosen one. You cannot carry everyone into your next season. Some must be released so you can climb lighter, see clearer, run faster. This is not cruelty. It is obedience. Those who are meant to remain will align naturally. Those who are meant to leave will resist as you rise. Either way, your responsibility is to keep moving toward the call. So, examine your ties. Weigh them in the light of your destiny. Keep what aligns. Release what distracts. And trust that in the space created, heaven will bring connections that carry life, sharpen your spirit, and walk with you into the fullness of your calling. Release without bitterness. For even those who drift away were part of your shaping. They carried lessons, sharpened edges, and prepared you for the higher places. Honor the past, but do not chain yourself to it. You cannot fly forward while gripping the weight of yesterday. And as you let go, watch how swiftly heaven fills the empty spaces. Where loss stings, new life will emerge. Where loneliness echoes, divine alignment will arrive. What you surrender in obedience, God returns, multiplied in purpose. The path of the chosen is never without testing. These tests are not designed to crush you, but to prove what is already inside you. A crown cannot rest on an untested head. A mantle cannot rest on untested shoulders. The first anointing test always comes quietly, without warning, often disguised in ordinary circumstances. It may arrive as temptation when no one is watching. It may come as discouragement when doors close. It may even appear as betrayal from those you trusted most. Yet in each of these, heaven watches not to condemn, but to reveal. The test is not about whether you will fall, it is about whether you will rise. I once heard the story of a young believer who had prayed for greater anointing. Soon after, he faced isolation. Friends left. Opportunities dried up. He thought he had failed. But in reality, he was in a test. In the quiet of those days, his prayers deepened. His roots grew stronger. Later, when doors reopened, he carried not only opportunity, but authority. His test became the foundation of his calling. The ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 5, verses 3 and 4 declare, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." Your test is shaping layers within you. Perseverance when you want to quit. Character when you want to compromise. Hope when you want to despair. Without the test, the anointing cannot rest. Think of gold in the furnace. The fire does not destroy the gold. It burns away what does not belong. In the same way, your trials refine you, stripping away fear, doubt, and pride, until what remains is pure, radiant, unshakable. Testing is also preparation for responsibility. Anointing is not a decoration, it is a weight. To carry it requires shoulders that will not collapse under pressure. Trials strengthen those shoulders. Disappointments build endurance. Delays cultivate patience. What feels like punishment is actually preparation. Consider Joseph, betrayed by brothers, sold as a slave, imprisoned unjustly. Each stage was a test. Had he failed in bitterness, he could not have stood in Pharaoh's palace. But because he endured, his authority was unquestionable. The test validated his anointing. So, chosen one, when you face your test, do not despise it. Do not assume God has abandoned you. Tests are the furnace where destiny is forged. They are the hidden classrooms where you are taught the language of kings and priests. Now, I ask you to seal this truth with a declaration. Comment these 3 words. Forged through fire. This is not empty repetition. When you type it, you are proclaiming that the flames will not consume you. They will refine you. You are telling the unseen realm that you recognize your trial not as defeat, but as preparation. Your endurance is your testimony. Your fire is your refining. Your survival is your anointing. Every test you face is proof of your calling, and every step you take through the fire is shaping you into the vessel heaven already sees. Stand, endure, and rise. The test is the doorway to your anointing. And understand this: fire never lasts forever. Even the hottest furnace cools when its work is finished. What feels unbearable now is temporary, but what it produces in you will last eternally. The strength you gain, the wisdom you carry, the authority you wield, these are treasures the fire cannot steal. Look at the blacksmith shaping a sword. He places the iron into the fire again and again, hammering, bending, refining. The iron does not understand the process, but the smith sees the final weapon. In the same way, your trials might seem endless, but your Creator sees the warrior rising from the heat. Every strike, every flame, every pressure is producing something unbreakable. Do not mistake the silence of heaven as absence. The teacher is often quiet during the test, not because he has abandoned the student, but because he trusts the lessons already planted. Your silent season is proof that heaven believes in what has been formed inside you. And when the test is over, the unveiling comes. Joseph stepped from the prison to the palace in a single day. David moved from the pasture to the throne after years of hiding. The shift will come suddenly, but it will not surprise you, because the fire will have already prepared your heart to carry it. So stand firm. Endure the flames. You are not breaking, you are being built. You are not lost, you are being forged into the vessel heaven always intended you to be. There is no crown without discipline. Prophetic destiny is not maintained by chance. It is sustained by daily rhythms that anchor your spirit and guard your path. These rhythms are not chains, but wings. They are not weights, but sails that catch the wind of heaven and carry you forward. Without them, you drift. With them, you rise. Discipline in the spirit is like a garden. Left unattended, weeds overtake it. But when tended daily, life bursts forth in beauty and abundance. Prayer is the watering. Scripture is the sunlight. Boundaries are the fences that protect the soil. When you cultivate faithfully, even when you do not see immediate fruit, roots grow deep underground, and one day, those roots bear fruit that cannot be shaken by storms. I once knew a young man who loved the idea of destiny but resisted the discipline of it. He wanted the harvest without the planting, the crown without the process. For a while, his excitement carried him, but when storms came, he collapsed. Later, he discovered that discipline was not punishment, it was preparation. As he began to set small habits: daily prayer, guarding his eyes and ears, learning to pause before speaking, he noticed strength rising. What once felt heavy became natural, and slowly, his life carried a fragrance that touched everyone around him. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Discipline often happens in secret. The world may never notice, but heaven does. Your unseen prayers, your quiet sacrifices, your guarded steps, these are seeds planted in eternity. They carry weight, even if no applause comes. Think of a ship on the ocean. Without a compass, It drifts aimlessly, even if the sails are full. Your daily disciplines are that compass. They keep you aligned to true north, ensuring you arrive at the shore of your calling. Without them, the winds of distraction carry you away. With them, even the strongest storms cannot sink you. And here, I must speak to your heart with honesty. Messages like this, words that carry light, are like bread placed before you. They nourish, strengthen, and sustain. But bread is baked because someone brought flour, oil, and fire together. The flow of these messages requires the same: prayer, effort, and yes, support. When you like, share, and subscribe, you are not just pressing buttons, you are adding wood to the fire, ensuring the flame never dies out. Each action is like placing another torch along a dark road, guiding strangers home without them even knowing your name. And if you feel stirred to donate, see it not as payment, but as participation. It is like dropping a stone into a still lake. The ripples travel far beyond your sight, touching shores you may never step upon. Your gift is a ripple that becomes waves of hope for others. There is beauty in voluntary giving. It is not obligation, it is overflow. It says, "What nourished me, I now extend." Whether it is your prayers, your presence, or your gift, heaven calls it all beautiful. So I ask again with a full heart: like, share, subscribe, and if you feel led, donate. Do it as a free act of love, as planting orchards you may never eat from, as oil poured into lamps you may never touch, as ripples that turn into waves long after you are gone. Chosen one. Discipline is not meant to cage you, it is meant to crown you. And every act of support, whether unseen prayers or visible gifts, builds a fire that others may gather around. Your part matters. Your presence matters. Your seed matters. And remember, discipline is not a sprint, it is a rhythm. Like the beating of a drum in battle, it keeps your spirit in step, steady and strong. Without rhythm, warriors stumble. With rhythm, armies advance. Even the smallest practice matters. A whispered prayer at dawn, a verse carried in your pocket, a pause before reacting. These are bricks laid into the fortress of your destiny. Alone they seem small, together they build unshakable walls. Support, too, is part of this rhythm. When you strengthen what strengthens you, you become part of a chain that cannot be broken. Your act is one link, and another's act is another link, forming an unbreakable bond of light across the earth. So walk forward with confidence. Discipline is not your cage, it is your crown. Forged daily, worn eternally. There are treasures hidden within you that even you have not fully recognized, gifts buried under layers of doubt, fear, or neglect. These are not talents in the ordinary sense, like skills you learned in school. They are relics, holy deposits placed in your spirit before you were even born. The enemy's strategy has always been to bury them so deeply that you forget they exist. But heaven's plan is to awaken them in due time, so that the world may see what was hidden. Think of an ancient temple, long covered by sand. To the casual traveler, it looks like nothing more than a hill of dust. But when the archaeologist begins to dig, columns are revealed, murals appear, treasures come to light. So it is with you. The treasure is not new, it has always been there, waiting for the right season to be uncovered. Perhaps your relic is compassion, the ability to feel what others cannot. Perhaps it is courage, the resolve to stand firm when everyone else runs. Perhaps it is wisdom that discerns beyond the surface, or creativity that reshapes what others overlook. These are not random qualities, they are divine assignments encoded into your soul. I once knew a woman who spent most of her life convinced she had nothing unique to offer. She worked quietly, stayed unnoticed, and often compared herself to those who seemed louder, stronger, or more gifted. One day, during a simple gathering of prayer, she spoke words that silenced the room, not because she shouted, but because the atmosphere shifted with authority. Her gift of intercession, hidden for decades, rose to the surface. That day, she realized her voice carried weight in heaven. What she thought was small was actually a relic within, waiting to be uncovered. We find in the first book of Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 7, "Now to each one the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good." And this truth dismantles comparison. To each one, not to some. Every chosen one carries a manifestation, a gift, a relic meant to serve the world. None are wasted. None are overlooked. Some shine in public. Others whisper in private. But all are necessary. Your relic might have been silenced by fear. Fear that your words are not enough. Fear that your courage will not be received. Fear that stepping forward will expose you to rejection. Yet remember, fear is a thief, not a ruler. It buries gifts that were meant to shine. But when you resist fear and act in faith, the relic glows again, like embers catching fire. Picture a chest locked with rusted chains. For years, it sits in a corner, dismissed as useless. Then one day, the lock breaks, and inside lies treasure of immeasurable worth. That chest is your life. The lock is fear, doubt, and distraction. And the breaking of that lock is obedience, courage, and surrender. When you allow heaven to break the lock, what emerges will astonish even you. This relic within you is not only for your own journey, it is for the people who will encounter you, for the generations that will follow, for the darkness that will be confronted by your light. Every hidden gift you release becomes a weapon in spiritual battles and a balm for wounded souls. Chosen one, do not dismiss the nudges in your spirit, the dreams that keep returning, the ideas that stir in your heart, the compassion that won't let you rest. These are signals pointing to the relic. Pay attention. Fan them into flame. For the relic within you is not ornamental, it is functional, designed for such a time as this. And when you begin to use it, even in small ways, you will feel alignment in your soul. You will sense heaven's smile, because you are walking in design, not accident. The relic within is proof that you are not empty, you are equipped. Not forgotten, you are chosen. Not powerless, you are armed. What lies within you is not fragile. It was placed by eternal hands, crafted before your first breath. No opposition, no delay, no rejection can erase it. The relic waits, not for perfection, but for willingness, your willingness to open, to risk, to let it shine where shadows linger. And once awakened, it will not only transform you, it will ripple outward. Families will shift, Atmospheres will change. Strangers will find hope simply because you chose to release what was hidden. The relic is heaven's reminder that you are not ordinary, that your presence carries eternal weight, and that your life was always meant to echo far beyond your years. Your story is not only about you, it is woven into threads that stretch back through generations, reaching ancestors you never met and promises you have not yet seen fulfilled. Some of the struggles you face are not random. They are echoes of unfinished battles from those who came before you. And some of the blessings hovering over you are not earned. They are inheritances of prayers, whispered by lips now silent. You are the bridge between what was and what will be. Think of a river flowing through time. Generations before you dug channels with their choices, prayers, and sacrifices. Some widened the stream of blessing. Others placed stones of rebellion that caused the flow to stumble. You now stand in the middle of that river, feeling both the current of their victories and the resistance of their mistakes. Yet you are not helpless. You carry authority to redeem what was broken and to release what was promised. I once knew of a family marked by cycles of poverty and despair. Each generation seemed trapped, repeating the same hardships. Yet, one young woman chose to break the pattern. She prayed. She fasted. She declared the promises of God over her bloodline. Slowly, the cycle shifted. She found opportunities no one before her had. Her children rose with strength. What looked like an endless curse was broken, and what had been withheld began to flow. She became the hinge of history in her family. As declared in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 9, "Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments." And these words remind you, heaven never forgets a covenant. Promises may feel delayed, but they are never erased. The prayers of your grandmother, the faith of your grandfather, the seeds sown by ancestors long gone, they are still alive, waiting for fulfillment. And you may be the chosen one to unlock them. Picture yourself as a key. Your obedience turns the lock on doors sealed for generations. When you choose holiness, chains break, not only off you, but off those connected to your name. When you choose faith, blessings ripple forward to those who will come after you. Your life is not isolated, it is generational. But this also means the weight of rebellion is real. To resist God is to hand your family line into cycles of blindness and struggle. That is why your choices matter deeply. You are standing at the intersection of history, holding the authority to either pass on curses or release blessings. Chosen one. This is why your story carries urgency. You are not just living for yourself, you are writing chapters for children not yet born. You are either giving them battles to fight or victories to inherit. And heaven is calling you to choose the latter. Think again of the river. You have the power to remove stones that block its flow through prayer, fasting, repentance, and obedience. You clear the channel. And once the water flows freely, it nourishes not only you, but everyone downstream. That is legacy. That is covenant. That is destiny. So I invite you now to mark this revelation with a prophetic act. Comment the number 888 below. This number is more than digits. It symbolizes new beginnings, abundance, and the eternal covenant of God. By writing it, you are declaring, I will not repeat the curses of the past. I will release blessings into the future. I am the hinge of generations. Do not take this lightly. When you type 888, you are aligning yourself with heaven's promise. You are stepping into a covenant larger than your lifetime, choosing to be the one who breaks chains and opens doors. The number becomes a seal, a sign that you accept the weight and beauty of your role in this lineage. Your bloodline is not doomed to repeat cycles. Your obedience rewrites history. Your faith waters seeds planted long ago, and your yes to God ensures that generations after you will rise with strength you made possible. Chosen one, embrace it. You are the answer to prayers prayed long before you. You are the beginning of blessings that will outlive you. You are a covenant keeper in a generation that desperately needs one. Your decision today is not small. It is the turning of a page in a book written long before you arrived. By saying yes, you place your signature on heaven's covenant. And that covenant does not end with you. It stretches forward, carrying your obedience as a banner for those yet to come. There are seasons when the journey of a chosen one feels scattered, as though each day carries random weight. Yet heaven operates with precision. There are times marked out as windows of action, and one of these is before you now. The next 72 hours are not ordinary. They are a battlefield, and you have been given the plan for immediate warfare. Warfare does not always look like swords and shields. Often it looks like choices, words, prayers, and alignments in the unseen. The enemy thrives on delay, on silence, on confusion. But when a chosen one takes focused action, the tide of the battle turns. The first step of this warfare plan is consecration. For the next 3 days, set yourself apart. Limit the noise that floods your mind. Choose moments of stillness where you can hear clearly. This is not about legalism. It is about sharpening your senses. Just as a soldier cleans his weapon before battle, so you cleanse your heart, removing the clutter of distraction. The second step is proclamation. Speak aloud the promises that have been entrusted to you. Whispered prayers carry weight, but declarations shift atmospheres. When you declare truth, lies lose their grip. When you proclaim promises, doubt has no place to linger. This is not empty speech. It is wielding the sword of the Spirit. The voice of God thundered in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. This verse is more than encouragement. It is a weapon. Courage is not a feeling, it is a stance. When you declare courage, you stand unshaken in a field where fear hoped to paralyze you. The third step is intercession. For these 72 hours, pray not only for yourself, but for those connected to you. Intercession is like building a wall of fire around a city. The enemy may approach, but he cannot breach. Your prayers are not limited to your life. They extend protection over family, friends, and even strangers who may never know your name, but who will feel the effects of your covering. The fourth step is resistance. Expect temptation to rise in these days. Expect distractions to multiply. Do not be surprised by sudden irritation, conflict, or heaviness. These are not coincidences, they are counterattacks. Resist them. Resistance does not mean ignoring, it means standing firm, refusing to bow, Even silence can be resistance when it refuses to fuel conflict. The fifth step is worship. Worship is not a filler, it is warfare. When you lift your voice in praise, the atmosphere shifts. Darkness loses ground. Chains weaken. Worship disarms the enemy because it redirects focus to the one who cannot be shaken. Sing, whisper, or meditate, but let worship rise in these hours. I once knew a man who felt prompted to set aside 3 days for focus. He prayed. He fasted lightly. He resisted distraction. On the third day, an opportunity arrived that he had long prayed for. He later said, "It was as if heaven had been waiting for me to align. And once I did, the door opened." Such is the power of focused warfare. Picture this moment like standing on a hill overlooking a valley where battle is stirring. You are not sent down unarmed. You are given a map, a weapon, and the assurance that heaven fights with you. Your task is to follow the plan, step by step, day by day. These 72 hours matter. They are not random. They are holy. Step into them with consecration, proclamation, intercession, resistance, and worship. And when they pass, you will see the shift, not always with your eyes first, but certainly in your spirit. The atmosphere will feel lighter, the path clearer, the burden lifted. You are not a victim stumbling through warfare. You are a warrior carrying a plan written from eternity. And as you follow it, the victory already secured in heaven will begin to manifest on earth. So take these days seriously. Do not treat them as common. Mark them as sacred, as if you are stepping into a temple where heaven and earth meet. Every action you take will echo louder than you realize. Remember, battles are not always won by noise, but by precision. Each prayer, each act of resistance, each moment of worship is a strike that weakens what opposes you. Small steps in obedience create massive shifts in the unseen. And when you look back, you will not remember exhaustion, you will remember victory. These 72 hours will stand as proof that obedience brings breakthrough. Acceleration does not come quietly. When heaven places its hand upon your life to speed the process, everything around you begins to shift. The pace changes. The scenery rearranges. And doors that once resisted suddenly swing wide. For the chosen one, acceleration is both exhilarating and overwhelming. It is like being caught in a current stronger than your own stride. Suddenly, you are moving faster than you thought possible. But acceleration is not random. It is the fruit of preparation. Seeds that seemed dormant suddenly break through the soil. Prayers that felt unanswered suddenly bloom with clarity. Delays that frustrated you now reveal themselves as strategic pauses, ensuring that when acceleration came, you were ready to handle it. Think of an archer pulling back the string of a bow. The arrow waits in tension, stretched backward, appearing as though it is retreating. But the backward pull is not loss, it is set up. The longer the pull, the farther the release. Acceleration works in the same way. What felt like being held back was the preparation for a launch you could not achieve on your own strength. I once knew of a man who endured years of obscurity. His talents were hidden, his efforts unnoticed, yet he remained faithful in small tasks. Diligent in prayer, consistent in character. Then, in a single season, everything shifted. Opportunities appeared. His influence grew. His words carried weight. What had been a whisper became a roar. When asked how it happened, he simply said, "The years of hiddenness prepared me for the weight of acceleration." Oh, the Word of God declares in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." Oh, this verse captures the rhythm of acceleration. There is an appointed time. Waiting does not cancel the promise, it anchors it. And when the moment arrives, it does not crawl, it runs. Acceleration often brings signs. Pay attention to the subtle shifts around you. Relationships that once drained you may fade quickly. Conversations you thought impossible suddenly occur with ease. Resources align without the usual struggle. Even obstacles, instead of blocking you, begin to propel you forward, as if the resistance itself becomes the wind in your sails. These are signs that acceleration has begun. Picture a river that has been blocked by stones. For years, the water trickles, struggling to move forward. Then suddenly, the stones are removed, and the river surges with power. That surge is what acceleration feels like: unstoppable, undeniable, divinely timed. Yet acceleration carries responsibility. Moving quickly means you must be alert, discerning, and anchored. Without discipline, acceleration can become chaos. Without humility, it can become pride. Heaven accelerates not to overwhelm you, but to place you exactly where you are needed at exactly the right time. Consider Esther. For years, she was hidden, living quietly in the palace. Then, in a single moment, her life accelerated into influence that saved a nation. Or Joseph, who endured years of waiting in prison. Then, in one day, he was lifted to Pharaoh's side, entrusted with authority. Their acceleration was sudden, but not unprepared. Every hidden season equipped them for the speed of their destiny. Chosen one. When acceleration arrives, it will not apologize for its pace. It will not wait for you to feel ready. It will demand that you trust the God who called you, not your own understanding. The signs of acceleration are already stirring. What once felt impossible is shifting into possible. What once seemed far is drawing near. What once lingered in delay is breaking into sudden movement. And as it unfolds, you will realize that every moment of waiting, every tear of delay, every silent prayer has been building to this very surge. So do not fear the speed. Anchor yourself in faith. Stay humble. Stay discerning. And let the current carry you. For when heaven accelerates, it is not just about you. It is about the lives you will touch, the chains you will break, the purposes that will unfold through your obedience. Acceleration is heaven's reminder that your story is not stagnant. What felt like years of silence were never wasted. They were roots growing deep, unseen but essential. Now those roots will sustain the speed of your rise. Do not be surprised when doors you never knocked on open, or when opportunities you never pursued arrive. This is not coincidence. It is divine orchestration. And as you move with this pace, remember, acceleration is not only about personal blessing, but about positioning. You are being placed where your light is most needed, where your voice will carry furthest, where your impact will echo longest. There is a moment in every journey when the crown comes into sight, the battles fought, The fires endured. The delays suffered. All of it builds toward this, the coronation. Heaven does not crown lightly. A crown is not a trinket. It is a declaration. It announces that you are trusted, proven, refined, and ready. This moment may not look like thrones and ceremonies. It may arrive in quiet confidence that fills your spirit. It may appear as new authority in your words, favor in your steps, or clarity in your vision. Whatever form it takes, the coronation is real. It is heaven's way of saying, you endured, and now you are entrusted. Think of David. He was anointed as a shepherd boy, but his coronation came after years of waiting, running, and hiding. His crown was not the beginning of his journey. It was the recognition of a journey already proven. So it is with you. The weight you carry now is proof that you are ready to wear what others cannot. We read in the book of James, chapter 4, verse 10, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." This is the secret of coronation. The crown does not rest on the proud, but on the humble. To bow before God is to be lifted by his hand. The path to the throne is not arrogance, but surrender. Not striving, but yielding. And when he lifts you, no one can pull you down. And yet, crowns are not worn for self-adornment. They are symbols of service. They are placed upon your head so that others may see the light of authority and find courage to rise. Your coronation is not only for you, it is for those who will gather under your influence. Those who will trust your voice because it carries the weight of fire-tested truth. I once knew a woman who lived decades in obscurity. She prayed faithfully, served quietly, and endured hardships that would have silenced many. Then, without warning, her influence expanded. Doors opened. People listened. Her words carried healing. She said, "It felt like heaven placed a crown I never saw coming." She wore it with humility, and her life became a refuge for others. Chosen one, as you approach this moment, you must also understand your responsibility to guard your crown, not with pride, but with surrender, not by clinging, but by remembering it was given. Crowns are lost when arrogance rises, but they shine brighter when carried with humility. And here, let me speak with honesty about the journey we are sharing. This message reaching you now is like a coronation robe being placed gently across your shoulders. But robes, like fires and lamps, require care to remain. When you like, share, and subscribe, it is as if you are lifting the edges of that robe, ensuring it does not drag in the dust, but flows with dignity. It is not a demand, it is a shared act of honor. And if your heart stirs to comment, think of it as engraving your name into the record of this coronation. Words written become stones, set in the foundation of memory. They are not for me alone, they are for you. A testimony that you stood here, at this moment, and recognized your crown. As for those who choose to donate, see it as something far deeper than money. It is like laying a jewel into the crown itself. Each jewel shines with the light of your sacrifice, your willingness to extend what you value, so the coronation flame does not dim. This is not obligation, it is beauty. A crown is incomplete without its gems, and each gift placed freely becomes part of the brilliance that others will see. Imagine a torchlit hall where coronation unfolds. The crown is placed. The robe flows. The torches burn bright. Yet each torch is lit by someone who carried a flame forward. Your act of support is one of those torches. Without it, the hall grows dim. With it, the moment shines for all to witness. So I invite you, not by force, not by pressure, but by beauty, to take your place in this scene. Like, share, comment, subscribe, or donate as your spirit leads. Each act is not transaction, but participation. Not obligation, but love. In doing so, you say, I honor what heaven is crowning here. Only, the coronation moment is holy. It is not to be rushed, not to be treated lightly. It marks you, seals you, and sends you, and every act of alignment, from whispered prayers to public support, becomes part of its radiance. Chosen one, your crown is here. Wear it humbly, guard it carefully, and let its brilliance light the path for others who are waiting for the courage to step into their own. Every destiny is not only shaped by what you accept, but also by what you refuse. The crown on your head does not only shine because of victories won, but also because of battles avoided. The chosen path is as much about rejection as it is about embrace. There are words you must never allow to cross your lips. Choices you must never let slip into your habits. And temptations you must never cradle. No matter how harmless they appear, these refusals are not chains, they are shields. They guard you from corruption, from compromise, from becoming something less than what you were created to be. Think of a river flowing freely toward the sea. Its current is strong, its path clear. Yet, if small streams begin to leak from it, one here, another there, the river weakens, losing power long before it reaches its destination. So it is with destiny. Each compromise, each careless word, each small surrender becomes a stream that drains your power. Refusing them is what keeps your current strong. I once heard the story of a man who longed for influence. Opportunities came quickly, but so did temptations, small bribes, supplélis, hidden shortcuts. At first, he thought, no one will notice. This is harmless. But each compromise weakened him. By the time the great opportunity arrived, he no longer had the strength to stand. His destiny did not collapse in one moment. It leaked away through the choices he refused to resist. As proclaimed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 24, keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. This verse reminds us that refusal begins with the tongue. Words shape worlds. To speak corruption is to seed corruption. To guard your lips is to guard your life. But refusal extends beyond words. There are invitations that will come dressed in beauty, yet carry poison in their core. Friendships that sparkle with charm, yet drain your soul. Opportunities that promise gain, yet demand the sacrifice of integrity. These are crossroads where refusal is not loss, it is victory. Picture a soldier on a battlefield. He carries a shield not only to block arrows, but to refuse entry to every weapon aimed at him. Without the shield, even the smallest dart can wound. With it, he walks unharmed. Your shield is your refusal. Each time you say no to what does not align with heaven, you raise your shield higher. Even Jesus faced this. In the wilderness, the enemy offered him shortcuts, bread without process, glory without the cross. kingdoms without obedience. Each temptation glittered with false promise, yet his refusal was his strength. By saying no, he preserved the yes that would change eternity. Chosen one, you must know the things you cannot touch, not because they are always obvious sins, but because they are subtle thieves. Know the words you cannot speak, the thoughts you cannot nurture, the places you cannot linger. Each refusal is not weakness, it is wisdom. I once knew a woman whose destiny demanded purity of focus. She had countless invitations to compromise, relationships that seemed harmless, partnerships that promised wealth. But she learned the power of refusal. Her no's guarded her, yes. In time, she stood with influence and authority that others admired. Not because she accepted every door, but because she discerned which doors were not meant for her. Your crown will remain only as strong as your refusals. To wear it well, you must draw lines you will not cross. These lines are not restrictions, they are boundaries of greatness. They preserve your strength, your integrity, your flame. So, examine yourself. Ask, what do I need to refuse so I can remain aligned? Which words must I never speak? Which compromises must I never entertain? Which paths must I never step upon? The clarity of these answers is your fortress. Chosen one. Destiny is not only about bold yeses, it is also about courageous no's. And when you live with that balance, your path will remain straight, your current strong, and your crown untarnished. Refusal, then, becomes a holy act. It is not the language of fear, but the language of protection. Every no you speak to darkness is a yes to light. Every temptation resisted is space preserved for truth to grow stronger. Refusal is your shield, and through it, your crown shines brighter. So carry this wisdom as you step forward. Let your boundaries be clear, your discernment sharp, your nose firm. In doing so, you honor not only your destiny, but also the one who entrusted it to you. And nothing, no trap or lure, will be able to steal it away. Destiny is not fragile. It is unshakable, rooted in eternity, anchored in the one who called you before the foundations of the world. Every storm, every delay, every wound has only proven this truth. What is chosen cannot be erased. You may bend, you may stumble, but you will not break, because your calling is sealed in heaven's decree. Unshakable destiny is like a mountain. Winds batter its sides, rains fall against it. Yet it stands. Generations come and go. Seasons change. But the mountain remains. So too with you. People may doubt. Circumstances may shift. But the core of who you are in God cannot be moved. Think of Joseph once more, betrayed by his brothers, enslaved, imprisoned. Each season looked like defeat. Yet every step was a stone in the path to his destiny. What others meant for harm became the very instrument that lifted him into purpose. His story was never fragile. It was unshakable, forged by hands stronger than betrayal. The ancient words recorded in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 28 declare, "Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us be thankful, and so worship God acceptably with reverence and awe." This verse is a reminder that what you carry is not temporary. It is kingdom, and the kingdom within you cannot be shaken because it is not built on human power, but on eternal promise. Your destiny is like a torch carried through storms. Winds may try to snuff it out. Rain may attempt to drown it. Yet the flame persists. Why? Because it is fed not by circumstance but by divine fire. That fire does not burn out. It renews itself daily. Kindled by the breath of heaven. I once knew a man who felt that failure had disqualified him. He walked with his head low, convinced that his mistakes had ended his story. But over time, he discovered that the very places he thought had ruined him had instead refined him. His destiny had not been cancelled, it had been clarified. He rose again, stronger than before, carrying a message of restoration. His destiny was never fragile, it was unshakable. Unshakable destiny also means you are not defined by the voices around you. Some will cheer you. Others will mock you. Still others will misunderstand you. Yet none of these voices can rewrite what heaven has written. Their words may sting, but they cannot erase the ink of eternity. Picture a tree with roots that reach deep into hidden aquifers. Drought may strike. The sun may scorch. But the tree thrives because its life source is underground, unseen. Your destiny draws from unseen wells. Even when the surface looks barren, the roots hold fast, drinking from eternal supply. Chosen one, you must embrace this truth. Your destiny is not dependent on perfect performance. It is anchored in perfect design. You were not chosen because of flawlessness. You were chosen because of purpose. And purpose does not shatter under pressure. It reveals its strength. Unshakable destiny gives you freedom. Freedom to walk with courage when others hesitate. Freedom to rise again when you fall. Freedom to risk obedience without fear of ruin. For even if you stumble, the hand of heaven lifts you. So walk with confidence. Do not shrink back when storms roar. Do not tremble when delays stretch long. Your destiny is not fragile. It is eternal. And nothing, no failure, no betrayal, no opposition can undo what God has sealed. Your journey is proof that resilience is greater than ruin. Every valley walked, every fire endured, has not reduced you, it has revealed you. The scars you carry are not signs of weakness but seals of survival, marking you as one who cannot be undone. Remember, fragile things shatter under pressure, but you did not. When others expected you to fade, you rose. When the weight pressed down, you endured. That is the evidence of an unshakable destiny. It stands where others fall. It shines where others dim. Even your moments of doubt could not cancel what was written. Doubt may have delayed you, but it could not erase the script. The author of your life holds the pen, and he never miswrites. Your destiny remains intact, waiting for your steps of courage. See yourself as a fortress built upon rock. Waves may crash against the walls. Storms may howl at the gates. Yet the foundation stands unbroken. That is who you are, anchored, established, immovable. So lift your head. Step into tomorrow, not with trembling, but with certainty. The crown is secure. The calling is clear. And your destiny is carved into eternity itself, unshakable, unstoppable, indeniable. And now, chosen one, the script draws to its close. But your story does not. What has been spoken here is not just a collection of words, it is a mirror of who you are becoming. A compass pointing you toward the horizon of your calling. You have been reminded of your battles, your fire, your crown. and your unshakable destiny. But destiny is not lived alone, it is carried together. Think of a flame in the night. One torch is powerful, but when many torches burn together, the darkness retreats further, the path grows clearer, and weary travelers find their way home. This message is one flame. When you like, share, and subscribe, you are not merely reacting, you are passing the torch along, ensuring that light multiplies where shadows once ruled. It is as if you are adding one more star to the night sky alone. It may seem small, but together, the heavens blaze bright enough to guide the lost. And if you take a moment to comment, see it as etching your testimony into stone. Each word you write becomes a declaration that you were here, that you received, that you stood as one of the chosen. It is not noise, it is legacy, inscribed in a place where others may one day draw courage, for those who feel stirred to donate. Understand this, it is not a demand. It is an invitation to beauty. Your gift is like pouring oil into a lamp, ensuring its flame never dies. Or like dropping a stone into a still lake, the ripples travel far beyond your sight, touching shores you may never step upon. Such giving is not transaction but transformation, not duty but devotion. So I leave you with this charge. Carry what you have received, protect it, nurture it, and let it shine. And if you choose to align through your support, like, share, comment, subscribe, or donate, know that you are weaving your flame into a tapestry of light that will outlast you. The story of God's chosen ones is still being written, and you are one of its brightest chapters.